Hello and welcome from the Ardclough Village Centre and our beautiful bio garden. My name is John Whelan and I am the chairperson of the Ardclough Village Centre. In video 13 of this series, I told you all about this wonderful village centre here in Ardclough, County Kildare, close to the Royal Canal and the burial site of Arthur Guinness in the Eucharist graveyard. In this particular video, Dr. Paddy Madden will focus on how to plant a native hedgerow. The spring breathes in the breezes, the woods with wooden notes ring, and all the budding hedgerows are fragrant of the spring. Hedgerows are a very important feature of our countryside, providing a home to 37 species of shrubs and a cover for many small little animals, such as my favourite, the hedgehog. It is not often appreciated that hedgehogs maintain the balance of our garden ecosystem. Now it is time for me to hand over to Dr. Paddy Madden and to Dr. Des Murtagh, who will take you through the steps they took when building the native hedgerow at the Ardclough Village Centre.
Hello, Des Murtagh and I, Paddy Madden, are in Ardclough Village Centre here in County Kildare today to talk about planting a native biodiverse hedgerow. We're here beside a hedge that was planted 5 years ago, and firstly the planting area was prepared here underneath it was prepared by inserting canes into the ground here and a line along here on the proposed route of the hedgerow. Then a trench was dug all the way along here, about 45 centimetres deep and about 45 centimetres wide, in front of the line that we had put out along there. So compost was added to the base then of the trench, and it was mixed in with the soil, and this was then covered with a very thin layer of soil so that the roots of the plants weren't touching the organic matter. So 50% of the hedgerow contains hawthorns. It also contains 10% holly and about 10% of blackthorn as well. Hazel, about 5% of hazel, and honeysuckle here as well. About 3% of the hedgerow is honeysuckle. Wild roses make up about 5%, and the Kildare rose about 3%. Wild privet as well is in here, about the same as the Kildare rose, about 3%. And elderberry then was just 1%. These should be planted at the end of the hedgerow because they tend to dominate a hedgerow and destroy then the slower growing species. So we have a graphic down here below, you can have a look at it, of a good mix for a native hedge. Now the plants were placed 30 centimetres apart in two staggered rows, about 20 centimetres apart. They were planted in blocks for better visual effect. And they were planted up to the soil marks on the stems. The trench then was backfilled by the excavated soil, and the plants were firmed in by foot. A native tree species can be planted along the hedgerow, such as rowan, crabapple, silver birch and spindle. The fruits and seeds of the latter, of course, they're lovely but very poisonous. In this hedgerow we have rowans planted along the hedgerow in the tree layer. The plants were watered well after planting. About 1/3 of each plant was removed to encourage bushy growth. Holly, however, is not trimmed for a couple of years. Thick layers of wet newspaper were placed around the plants to suppress weeds and conserve moisture, and to encourage worms then to aerate the soil as they pull it downwards. These were then covered, this bark mulch here and paper, the whole lot then was covered with bark mulch for a nice visual effect. The plants were pruned hard back the following year as well, on year 2. From then onwards they were trimmed annually in winter. The desired height of the hedge should be about 1.5 metres to 2 metres, and its width should be about 1 metre, as you see here in this 5-year-old hedgerow. The hedgerow is mulched annually with well-rotted leaf mould. Blackthorn now, that can spread outwards, and to curtail that, the grass here is cut along here to keep it under control, and that keeps it at bay. Creating a native hedgerow on one of the school boundaries, it'll generate biodiversity, and it'll be a real learning resource for pupils. The best time to plant one is in any month with an hour in it, except in April and September.